Today we're going to find the midpoint of a line segment. First, let's talk about what midpoint means. A midpoint is the point in the middle of a line segment, so exactly at the halfway mark. If we have line segment AB, then the midpoint M would have to be exactly in the center of line segment AB. In order to find midpoint, the first thing we have to do is graph the two endpoints of our line segment. So here we have A at 0, 2. So at 0, 2, I'm going to put a dot, and I'm going to label it A. And B, negative 2, negative 2. So at negative 2, negative 2, I'll put my point and label it B. And then I'm going to connect the two. Well, in order to find out half the distance, I need to know how far it is. So I'm going to draw along the grid lines from B to A. And then I'm going to count from B to A. I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I go right 1, 2. Midpoint is halfway. So I'm going to cut those numbers in half. Half of 4 is 2. So this time I'm going to go up 2. 1, 2. And then I went right 2. And half of 2 is 1. So I'm going to go right 1. That lands us on point negative 1, 0. And that's our midpoint. Negative 1, 0. Let's try one more. WH has a midpoint at point K. W is 0, 6. H is 3, negative 2. So first, I'm going to put point W on our graph at 0, 6 and label it. And then point H at 3, negative 2 and label it. I will connect them. And then I need to draw along the grid lines from point W to point H. So I'm going to go down and over. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I go down 8 and I go right 1, 2, 3. Midpoint is halfway, so I'm going to cut those numbers in half. Half of 8 is 4. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4. Half of 3 is 1.5. So I'm going to go over 1 and a half. And that's where I'm going to put my midpoint, K. I went over 1.5 from the origin, so my X value is 1.5. And then it's up to 1, 2, here. So my ordered pair is 1.5 and 2. There's also a formula for midpoint. So here we have points P and Q. P, 5, negative 4, and Q, 3, 4. The coordinates of the midpoint of PQ are, and it's multiple choice, our midpoint, we take our endpoints. We have endpoint 1 and endpoint 2. Endpoint 1 is P, 5, negative 4. Endpoint 2 is Q, 3, 4. Our formula for midpoint is to take our endpoints and add them together and then divide by 2. So I take my X values, 5 and 3, to add together, divide by 2. My Y values, negative 4 and 4, add together and divide by 2. So I take my formula and I plug in my endpoints into the formula. So instead of X sub 1 and X sub 2 and Y sub 1 and Y sub 2, I'm going to have 5 and 3, negative 4 and 4. 5 plus 3 is 8, divided by 2, that's 4. And then onto my Y value, negative 4 plus 4 is 0, and then 0 divided by 2 is 0. So 4, 0 is my answer. Now, we can put this in Desmos. So we have our midpoints for the following endpoints, 2, 5, and 8, 7. I have my formula, X sub 1 plus X sub 2 over 2, Y sub 1 plus Y sub 2 over 2. So I'm adding my X values, 2 and 8, and dividing by 2, and my y values, 5 and 7, and then dividing by 2. So in Desmos, I've got a couple of options actually. I can put them in individually, or I can put in the whole coordinate. Let's take a look at both methods. If I put them in individually, I'm going to put them on separate lines. So I have 2 plus 8 divided by 2. So my x-coordinate would be 5. And then my y values, 5 plus 7 divided by 2. And so 6 would be my y-coordinate. I can also put in the entire coordinate at the same time. So if I want to find the whole coordinate, I start out with my parentheses for my ordered pair, and then I need my x values added in parentheses. 2 plus 8 divided by 2. Put a comma in between my x and y. 5 plus 7, my y values, in parentheses, divided by 2. And then I have my ordered pair, and I can click label, and it actually plots that point for me on the graph, 0.56. So we had our two methods. We can do it individually, or we can do the entire coordinate at the same time. Both ways gets us the same answer of 5, 6, but the whole coordinate also graphs it for us at the same time. Let's try one more. Here we have points -3, 0, and 7, 0. I have my formula. I add my x values for my endpoints and divide by 2, and I add my y values of my endpoints and divide by 2. So I'm going to replace my x's and y's in the formula with those numbers. -3 and 7 are my x values. 0 and 0 are my y values. In Desmos, I can do them individually, which would look like this. Or I could do the whole coordinate and type them in all at the same time. Mark label, which would give me that point on my graph. In both cases, I get the same answer of 2, 0. That's all for midpoint. Let's pause here to practice together.